Good morning, YouTube. It is 10 a.m. in the great state of Texas, and we're doing another bowl project. Hope everybody's having a great 2022. This is the first video, or one of the first videos I'm putting out in early 2022, January. So we did this project all the way back in July of 2021, and what we're doing here is taking some black diamond brand pigment, both white and black, and we're going to do like a swirling kind of effect. I've seen some other woodworkers do this. I've done a couple of projects where I've kind of done this, but I'm trying to get like a really good swirling effect in this one. So stick around and let's see what we can get done. Also, by the way, I've had this video loaded for like 2 months before I've done the commentary, so I'm a little bit rusty. I just moved into the new garage. I'm sure you guys are all aware of that by now, or into the new shop. And that's why these commentaries are going to be a little shaky, not that they weren't shaky before. So essentially all we did was take 2 sets of epoxy, mix one up really well. That's the black, and this is the white sparkle one as well. Same brand, so hopefully everything goes relatively well. And it does. The end performance of this epoxy, absolutely beautiful. So here comes the pour, mixing them up. And you kind of get this swirling, Dalmatian kind of effect. I really thought there was going to be more epoxy when I set this up, and I initially wanted to go back and add more epoxy, but decided there was already so much swirl, it just wasn't worth it. So 4.5 hours in the pressure pot, and this is the effect that we got. And I was really happy with the way this turned out when we took it out of the blank itself. Only thing I really didn't like was the fact that we didn't put that much epoxy in there, so it was going to be a really shallow bowl to begin with. And we have all this waste block on top, and this is the first time I'm watching this through, so I don't even remember what I did to get rid of the waste block on top. I think I just turned it down, but we'll find out here in just a little bit. So once we got the faceplate on, now I already had a little bit of a problem there. You can see a chunk fell out once I put the actual faceplate on there. The problem with this pine is that it's old, and sometimes it'll just crack and chip for no reason. So here we are, just doing our typical thing where we're just working down the superficial edges of it, getting that first layer off, which is sometimes the most easiest and sometimes the most difficult portion of the bowl making process. So this part didn't give me too many issues because it's so shallow. There really wasn't a lot of difficulty with getting that superficial layer off first. No major chip out from what I can remember, and then we're just going back with the regular bowl gouge and the round carbide tool, just hitting it back and forth, getting everything nice and even before we turn it over on the side. And I could have gone a little bit better on the edge here where we're taking it off, and I'm probably thinking, you know what, we don't have a lot of epoxy to work with, so that's probably why I didn't go back and do any kind of like major slanting with it. And as you can see there, obviously I don't remember this all the way from back in July, and had a little bit of chip out there, which it's just an aggravating process of the bowl making hobby. Is just sometimes when you get chip out, it just makes you want to quit. But you know, I've shown failure on this channel plenty of times, so you guys know no matter what happens, I will go back and try to salvage it for better or worse. So once we got that portion of the chip out, I was pretty confident with where we were, and I think by this time I'm pretty happy with where things are. And then we're just going to go ahead and try to flip it on the lathe, or come back and do it all over again. Just, never happy. My OCD kicks in, and I'm like, it can be better. It can always be better. So once we did that portion of it, and I was pretty happy with how the outside edges were, then we just came back, hitting it with a parting tool, trying to get that mortise done, coming back and hitting it with the round and square carbide tools. I take that back. There was no round carbide tool. That was the gouge and the smaller and larger square carbide tool. So got the mortise built out, fits kind of snug as a bug, so we're just making out the edges a little bit better before we actually flip it over on the other side. So now, by then, we should have gotten it done, and now we're on the other side. So like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't remember if I just sawed this off or just ended up taking the bowl gouge and trying to get everything taken down that way, because there wasn't a lot of epoxy to work with. Sometimes it's just easier to just take the edges off, and sometimes if you come back, and I've done some projects where I'll hit it with the Sawzall if the waste block is ginormous, but I guess I decided in this part that it was just too big to go ahead and not do the Sawzall portion. Or maybe I do, because honestly I don't remember. This video was back in July, and I'm now doing the commentary in what's September of 2021. So did the project in July of 2021, and I'm doing the commentary in September of 2021. So a lot of time is overlapped. Even though I could have gone back and watched the video, sometimes it's just a little, to me it's a little bit more fun just to go in there, you know, not so fresh, and it just, you know, you kind of remember stuff that goes through. But so once we got the waste block off, now we're just taking off that superficial layer, getting everything nice and even on top so we can actually start the gouging portion of it. And this part, I believe, didn't give me a lot of problems, but I have not remembered a lot so far. But typically the edge of the bowl is usually where I have a little bit of a problem, and I get kind of nervous because sometimes the round carbide tool will catch the edge, and then we'll have a lot of chip out on the edge of the bowl. So pretty happy with where we are here. Got the major waste block off, so now we can start the actual gouging portion of it here. And we're taking the large carbide tool and just getting through that pine initially really easy, and that's why I like using these large pine blocks, because it just makes your job so much easier, so much simpler. You don't have a lot of, you know, epoxy to kind of feed through, which sometimes can be a little bit detrimental, because out of all the processes of making bowls, typically it's the gouging part that I don't like the most, only because it's tedious and it's a fun process because you always learn something from it, but at the same time, it's like at some point when you're gouging so much, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. And I'm a perfectionist. Even though my work doesn't reflect that, I am a perfectionist. I do like to do the best possible job that I can. So a lot of the time I will get to the edges of these bowls and then have a catastrophic failure, as you saw in some of the videos that you guys are going to see later in 2021, or have already seen in 2021, because by the time you're watching this, it's 2022. But anyway, back to the video and off my rant. So here we are again, just working the edges like I typically will do, and this is the part where I just get really kind of nervous, because I'm always worried about some kind of catastrophic blowout on the bottom edges of the bowl, and I'm trying to make it as thin as possible on this one. Typically I don't like the side plates to be very thick. I like them to be very small and thin. So here we are, still in the old garage. You can see I'm using the ring light and my floodlights, and here is all of the epoxy and the dust and everything from just this one simple bowl. It always amazes me how much material is left over. But here we are before the sanding portion, got everything gouged out the way I liked. Not a lot of wood in this one on the bottom, so that was really good. I tried to hold off on that as much as possible, but here we are at the bottom. So then we just went ahead and went from 340 all the way, or 380 all the way up to 1500 on the dry sanding, and then we're going to come back and hit it with a micro mesh wet sanding like we will typically do with all of our projects. And there's that transition, and it's still dark in the garage, but here we are. You can start to see some of that black and white just really shine. Looks really good. Really like the way this one turned out. You'll see it here at the end. Absolutely love the transition. I could have done a little bit better with the swirls, but believe me, I'm going to come back 2022 and do a lot more of these projects and try to get a better swirling effect. Also, I do have a plan for the waste block. Those videos will start to come out in 2022, February, somewhere around there. But here we are at the end. Bowl didn't give me a whole lot of problems, and just shining it up using that wood wax that I love to use with pretty much every project. And overall, really happy the way this one turned out. Couldn't say I had any big problems with it other than the giant waste block. But here it is. You can see all these cool swirls and textures, and we will be doing another project like this in the future, and hopefully the outcome is a little bit better, a little bit more crisp, I would say. But overall, really happy first time out using that kind of swirling effect, and really happy with it. So hope you guys are having a good 2022. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos and the channel. If you guys aren't subscribed, consider subscribing, leave a comment, all that good fun stuff. And here we are at the end, all done. And I will see you guys in the next project. Peace. So the project is done. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning here. Today is July 23rd, 2021. Here it is. Turned absolutely beautiful. And I'm sure I went over in the commentary, I wanted it to be bigger, but it still turned out really well. And we really limited the amount of wood blocks that are in there. You can see the bottom there. It's mostly just epoxy, but Man, that looks really cool. And you guys are probably watching this in January, more than likely. January, February, somewhere around there. This is one of the last bowls I'm going to do in this garage before we move to the new house. So you guys are watching this way later than when I first created it. Like I said, today is July 23rd, 2021. Absolutely beautiful swirl. I'm going to do a bowl like this larger, and it's going to just be absolutely beautiful. Absolutely love this. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry it's so dark in here. I'm moving out of this space, obviously, when you guys, I'll be well into my new house, but absolutely gorgeous bowl. Absolutely love this color, the way the marbling, the way it just turned out. It looks absolutely amazing. So hope you guys enjoyed it. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I gotta go actually prep another project. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next project. Peace.